My dear friends, we were discussing on mysticism the other day. This discipline or mystical contemplation can be seen from the theological point of view, from philosophy, from psychology, and other disciplines. We are concerned about Christian theological mysticism. And this experience of mystical contemplation is the experience of the mystery of God. And we have an aptitude to arrive at it. But most often we are totally oblivious about it and we seldom take care of it. First of all, we must know our own selves. Different authors, different traditions look at human being from different angles. Hinduism in Chandogya Upanishad, for example, speaks of human person existing at 5 levels. They are called Annamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Jnanamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Jyotir Kosha. Saint Paul, on the other hand, speaks of 3 levels of human existence, namely Anthropos Sarkikos, which means man of flesh, Anthropos Psychikos, man of reason, man of mind, Anthropos Pneumatikos, spiritual man. St. John of the Cross speaks also of 3 levels of human existence. The sensory life, consisting of body, the senses, desires, and the passions. Life of the spirit, consisting of spiritual faculties. And the innermost aspect of human being, the substantial being, spiritual substance. There are also other philosophers who look at human being from different angles. All of us have these 3 different levels of existence. But most often we are concentrating on certain aspects of our existence and leave out totally other aspects. Perhaps we do not know, we are oblivious about it, and therefore we cannot grow in that dimension of our existence. For the sake of clarity, let us restrict to Christian tradition because we are concerned about Christian mysticism. We can speak of, as St. Paul said, St. John of the Cross on the other hand, at 3 levels of our existence. First of all, the sensory life. The outermost, most evident, most phenomenal aspect of our life. The sensory life consisting of the body, the senses through which we come in contact with the things without us, outside us. Our desires and our passions or our emotions. This is the outermost aspect of our life. Over and above this, we have got the intellect, the memory, the imagination, the will, the spiritual faculties. And there is a core of our being, the pure spiritual aspect. Our mystical contemplation, according to Christian tradition, is felt purely in the spiritual aspect. Of course, in real existence, real life, all these 3 aspects form one unit, mind-body complex. Body, mind, soul and spirit, we form one unit, philosopher would say, one suppositum. Therefore, there is no watertight compartment. But by our practice, by our choice, we may give more emphasis to one at the neglect of the other. and therefore our growth may not be properly in an even way. And that is what happens. That's the precise reason why, though we are Christians, though we try to live a good life, we do not arrive at mystical experience. I said, God is pure spirit. He cannot be seen with the eyes, cannot be heard with the ears, cannot be touched. He has no dimension like a 2-dimension, 3-dimension, no color. So then, our senses cannot have perceptual knowledge of the mystery of God. If the senses cannot have the perceptual knowledge of the mystery of God, our intellect cannot also grasp the mystery of God. Now, if our senses cannot pursue the mystery of God, if our intellect cannot have a conceptual knowledge, understanding of the mystery of God, how do we know that God is there? That's a question arises. We shall address this question later on. However, we can say that we are not alone. We are not just a body and a senses. We are not just imagination, intellect and memory. We are more than that. Our yearning, our desire proves that. Our desire to live beyond death proves that. That's a part we shall deal with it later on. Now let us be concerned about our external-most part of our existence, namely our body. We are bodies, and we come in touch with the reality outside, extra-mental realities, through the windows of the body, call it the senses. With the eyes we see colored things, we see colors. With ears we hear sound. With the touch we have a sense of touch. Similarly, odors, smell and the taste. These senses put us in contact with such experiences. And when we are come in touch with such experiences, we have either attraction towards them or a repulsion from them. An example, when I see a beautiful flower, colorful, with a nice smell, I have an attraction for it. When I something rotten, when I see it, I have repulsion. This is inbuilt in our nature. That does not mean we should act only according to attraction and repulsion. Let me say why. Maybe there is a sick person, old person, a person in misery. Another is a young person, very attractive. Old person is not so attractive. Perhaps his condition is repulsive. Can we, for that reason alone, keep that other person who is repulsive, keep him away and be concerned only with the young person? Are we to judge the value of a thing, of a person, only from the angle of attraction and repulsion? Therefore, attraction and repulsion is not the norm. To what extent we have to relate ourselves to it, though our senses put us in contact with that. And when we have attraction, we have also desire to get involved, to possess it. When I see a beautiful rose, I have desire to have it. I want to take it. And when I take it, I have delight. So then, first, through my eyes, I see a rose. Then I am attracted to it. Then I have desire to have it. Then I take it. And when I have taken it, I have delight. All this is in our very makeup. We may not have much choice in that. But then we need not go only according to these tendencies. We have freedom of will. And the will must dictate how we have to go about. Now, when what we see is very attractive and is delightful, we try to take it, and because it is delightful, we get attached to it. This can happen in our day-to-day life. For example, a drunkard, when he sees a bottle of liquor, he is attracted to it. He wants to take it. He takes it and drinks it, and then perhaps for a momentary delight. Does it help him? As a result, if he repeats this often, he becomes a drunkard. He destroys himself. What is said of a drunkard or habit of drinking can be said of anything and everything. Though our senses put us in contact with the reality outside, and sometimes that is good, but always that need not be good. We need to make use of them, of the things outside, through our senses, but at the same time, we should keep ourselves free. If we don't keep ourselves free, don't enslave ourselves to the object of sensation, we will not be able to rise above them. This is what happens in our society, whether we are young or old. A person may be attached to money, another may be attached to property, another may be attached to drunkenness, another may be sensuality, sex. And all these tendencies, because we yield to the sensation of our senses and the delight received from it, we become slavish to such things. And ultimately, these attachments destroy us. And we are not able to rise above. Even in our ordinary undertaking, if a young boy, a student, gets attached to drug, he cannot pursue his studies. If a person is attached to sensuality, sex, his mind becomes almost blind. So then, on the one hand, the senses put us in contact with the reality outside, which is very good. An example, eyes put us in contact with the reality outside, color. And you can see, if you were born blind, you would not see. So we must thank God because He has endowed us with the 5 senses, Panchendriya. And through them, we can see the things of creation, the rich creation, beautiful creation. We must thank God. Not only that, we must trim our senses, keep them in healthy condition, that we are able to make use of them and derive the best advantage. At the same time, we should be on our guard that we are not slavish to the delight that comes to us when we indulge in the sensation. Slavish to food by way of gluttony, slavish to drink by way of drunkenness, and in many other things we can become slaves. And the world, if there is the disorder in the world today, it comes basically from disordered sensation, sense perception. Greed comes because there is delight in having something. A person is greedy about power. And in order to have that power, in the political field or in a religious field or social field, in order to have that power, he may indulge in committing any crime. And that's what we see today. So it is necessary that we are the masters of our senses and not the senses master of ourselves. It's the Upanishads which say a person who has no control over his senses may be compared to a person riding on a wild horse without any reins in hand. It's a wild horse, goes in any way. First of all, will not allow him to ride. And if he succeeds to sit on his back, he will not succeed in riding on it. Again, yoga compares a person attached to a sensation to a monkey bitten by scorpion. Monkey is restless, and if it is bitten by scorpion, how restless it would be. Don't we see this in our society? Don't we experience this condition in our own life sometimes? It is necessary that we have control over our senses and sensations, and we should discern and decide what kind of sensation and the delight therein coming from them should be useful for us, and attune our life towards that. If our concern is to go deeper at the level of the spirit, to go deeper still at the level of the spirit, not merely in the intellect, then the senses must be under the control of the intellect. A student cannot be intelligent, cannot succeed in his studies unless his intellect controls his senses. No person can succeed in career, whatever career he may undertake, unless he brings his senses under the control of his reason. And no person can grow in spiritual life if his reason itself is disorderly. It is to be brought under the control of the spirit. This is what we deal with during this process of spiritual or mystical transformation. My dear friends, we need to thank God that God has endowed us with the senses. They are wonderful gifts. They put us in contact with the world outside. They give us delight. They enrich our knowledge. They are the only windows, the only doors to understand anything. If we are deprived of the senses, we will be completely vegetative. It's necessary that we have senses to live a meaningful life.